Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to start on unit 5.3. We are going to do two separate lessons today, so unit 5.3. So first one, we're going to be talking about the angles in triangles. Okay, the angles in triangles. Okay, so we have names for the angles in triangles, okay? And you learned yesterday that exterior angles are equal to the sum of their opposite interior angles. Okay, we did that yesterday. This is not new. Okay, so exterior angles are equal to the sum of their opposite interior angles. So, we're going to draw a picture. I know it's going to look a little funky, but we're going to draw a picture. We're going to draw some triangles, and just let me draw it, and then you'll be able to draw it next. Okay, so I want you to draw basically a triangle with spikes on it, yeah. And then I'm going to label this, okay? Inside the triangle on the upper left, I'm going to label that's angle 1. The upper right is angle 2. And the bottom is angle 3. And then on the outside, 1 is adjacent. So adjacent means next to angle 4. No, adjacent. Not the name Jason, adjacent. So A-D... adjacent. No, we're not going to spell it right now. So, number 1 is attached to angle 4. Let's see that. Number 3 is attached to angle 5, and number 2 is attached to angle 6. So that's just how we label them. Okay? If you look at these, what would you say that 1 and 4 are called? What relationship do they have between 1 and 4?
Interior.
1 is interior, 1 is exterior, okay. But I'm talking about what kind of angles are they?
Oh, 90.
Okay, these ones together, they make a what? Do they make a straight line or a corner? A straight line. So 1 and 4 would be supplementary, yes. Which other ones are supplementary?
6 and
2.
2 and 6, and 3 and 5, exactly. So there's lots of different relationships we could comment on here, okay? They're supplementary. Yes, together they make 180. I'm not sure about boyfriend and girlfriend, but yes, together they make 180, okay? We're going to call these, what would you say that 1, 2, and 3 are? What type of angles are they? Like if you're going to give them a name. They're inside the triangle, so they are interior. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Interior. Why are they interior? Because they're inside the triangle. Okay? 4, 5, and 6 are what do you call them? Exterior. Not outerior, exterior. Okay, so 4, 5, and 6 are exterior. Okay, so today we're focused on interior and exterior. So, if I asked you the measure of angle 4, how could you find the measure of angle 4? Angle 4 is made up of which two?
1.
No, I'm not talking about what does it supplement. Hold on. Okay, listen to my question. We just said exterior angles are equal to the sum of the opposite interior angles.
2 and 3.
So 4 is equal to the ones that are across from it. Not the one that's next to it, but the ones that are across from it.
So 2.
So angle 4 is equal to angle 2 plus angle 3. So they're always adding together. Okay, angle 4 would be equal to angle 2 plus angle 3. The measure of angle 5 would be equal to which two? Angle 5, you would have to add together which ones?
1 and 2.
1 and 2. Not the ones right next to it, but the ones that are across from it. So measure of angle 5 would be equal to 1 and 2 added together. You're always adding them together, so it's the sum of something. And then last one, angle 6 would be equal to which ones?
3.
Nope. Angle 6 is equal to 1 and 3 because those are across from it. Okay, so sum of opposite interior angles.
Why not 1? It's across from 2. It's a different angle.
Which one are we talking about?
There's 5.
6 is equal to 1 and 3, yeah. You have to add them together. You have to add them together. Okay, so listen. So for example number 1, okay, I'm going to draw you a triangle. We're going to draw our triangle. Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
So let's draw our triangle, and we're going to label it. We're not going to label with 1, 2, 3s. I'm going to use letters this time. Okay? So outside here is point D. And then the lower left is A, lower right is B, and up top is C. D is just the point.
Like David?
Sure. Now I'm going to put in some values. Okay, so if I tell you that the measure of angle A is X degrees, put the X in A's corner. Measure of angle B is 32 degrees. And the measure of angle BCD, so BCD, the outside is 112 degrees. I would like you to find two different parts here. I want you to find the value of X, and I want you to find the measure of angle ACB. Find the value of X, and I want you to find the measure of angle ACB. So we're going to start with two different parts here. Okay? The first part is, how can I find the value of X?
32 plus 32.
32 plus
32 plus 1
plus 112.
Minus 1. No, because that's
No. This is it. Right, this is the outside one. So the exterior one is equal to what?
112.
Oh.
Hold on. These two added together. Right. So, hold on. So, 112 is equal to X plus 32. If you wrote it backwards, that's fine. So, 112 is equal to X plus 32. How could I solve that? Subtract the 32.
From 112.
Okay, subtract the 32. And we're going to get 80 equals X. So I found one of the measures I'm looking for. X is equal to 80 degrees. That's one of the answers that I was looking for. The other answer that I'm looking for is I want to find the measure of ACB. So A to C to B, that's the inside here, right? How do I find that inside angle?
Oh.
You want add them both, because I decided that this one was 80, so I'm going to replace this with an 80.
Oh, no.
How can I find the missing angle inside the triangle?
Oh, 80 plus 32. Am I right?
That would give you 112.
Minus 180.
Divided by 2.
Say it again, Topanga. Subtract what? 80 minus 32?
180 minus
Okay, two different ways that you could do this. I'm going to show you two different ways, and you've learned both of these, okay? First off, how many angles are inside a whole triangle?
3.
Okay, I'm sorry. What's the value for all of them added together?
180.
180. So if you know this one and you know this one, could you find the last one?
Yeah.
Yes. Or what kind of line does this 112 and this angle make?
Supplementary.
They are supplementary. They make a straight line, okay? These two are supplementary. Supplementary angles make what? How many degrees? 180. So either way you do it, you're going to do what? The measure of angle ACB plus 112 equals what? 180. Now, you could get the 112 from this value, or you could add these together and there's still 112. So a couple different ways you could do that. Exactly. So really, we're just subtracting 112 from 180. Okay, so you could use stuff that we learned on Monday or on Tuesday. So angle ACB is equal to, what's 180 minus 112? 68 degrees. Okay, so x is equal to 80, measure of angle ACB is equal to 68 degrees. Do we have questions on how I did that? Okay, so this is exactly the same stuff that we've been doing the past 2 days. It's just shown in a little bit different way. Okay, so we're kind of combining Monday and Tuesday together. Okay, let's try another one. Not exactly, but thanks. I know. You were just making a math joke. Okay, for number 2, we're going to draw a triangle again. Sorry, my pencils. And this time oh my goodness. Okay, this time we're going to have one side. Keep going. Okay, the upper left is corner A. The upper right is corner B. And the bottom is C. And then out here is point D. Okay, the measure of angle A is x degrees. The measure of angle B is x plus 14 degrees. And the measure of angle ACD, so outside here, ACD is equal to 62 degrees. I'll give you 3 parts. If you have 3 parts, you can definitely find these answers here. And this one, I'd like you to find what is x equal to, as well as what is the measure, of angle ACB. So you're finding 2 parts. What is x equal to, and what is ACB equal to? Which one do we want to do first? Do we want to do the x part or the ACB part?
ACB.
You want to do ACB first? Okay, so the measure of angle ACB is this one, right here. How could you find the measure of that angle? Subtract from what?
62 and 14.
Close. I heard it over here. 180. Why? Because 62 and this corner together, oh, you can't see that, sorry, not helpful. 62 and ACB together make a what? Straight line, which are supplementary angles. So 62 plus angle ACB. I'm not going to put in an X there because we already have X's and I don't want to do any more. I have to. Equals 180. Then, to get ACB by itself, subtract the 62. So we know that the measure of angle ACB is equal to what? 118. I don't know how you got that. Measure of angle ACB is equal to 118 degrees. Hey, leave the car alone, dude. Calm down. It's going to be okay. So this is 118. Now, what else can I find here? Can I solve for x? Yeah. Yes. 62, what is 62's relationship to these two angles?
14. They add up.
62 is the exterior angle, and the exterior angle measurement is equal to these two added together, the sum of the opposite interior angles. So the one on the outside, 62, is equal to the opposite added together. So x plus 14. Okay, so the addition the addition of the ones across from it in the triangle. So if we combine like terms, we have 62 equals how many x's are we adding together? 1 x and another x gives you 2x.
You get 48.
Plus 14. Then to get rid of the 14, you subtract. So subtract 14 from both sides. You subtract 14. What's 62 minus 14? 48. Thank you. Equals 2x. Sorry, I'm running out of room here. Divide both sides by 2. And we get x equals 24. Okay, so x is equal to 24. And we're going to write degrees on all of these. Questions on how I did that? So we're just combining everything that we've learned in the past 2 days in today's lesson.
How many examples are there?
For the first set, 5. Okay, are we good for that? Okay, now, moving on. We also learned something a couple days ago about the angle sum theorem. Sorry about that. The angle sum theorem. Because it's a,
The flat screen?
yeah, the flat screen's a little crinkly, sorry. Or I have like a tablecloth. The white paper isn't perfectly flat, sorry. No, we're just on the next thing on the next page. Okay? The angle sum theory. What does the angle sum theory tell you about all the angles in a triangle? The sum of all angles in a triangle equals what? If you add up all the angles inside a triangle, what will it equal?
180.
180 degrees. Perfect. Okay, perfect. So, just keep that in your mind. Remember that. Okay, so for example number 3, if I give you a triangle, again, and it looks kind of like this, and in the top, I tell you this is 2x, on the left is 25 degrees, and on the right is another 25 degree angle. And I want you to solve for x. So I'm going to ask you for 2 different parts here. I want you to actually solve for x, and then I want the actual angle measurement, okay? And then so solve for x, and then I say list all angle measurements. How would I set up an equation that I could solve for x?
Okay, so you could
Add up all these parts, right?
Yeah.
So 2x plus 25 plus 25 equals what?
180.
180. Perfect. So combine your like terms. That gives you 2x plus 25 and 25 is 50 equals 180. Then move the 50. You move the 50, we have 2x equals 130. Divide both sides by 2. I can't see, you can't see it, I'm sorry. Thank you. What's 130 divided by 2?
65.
65. So x is equal to 65. So that's part of your answer. I wanted to know what x is equal to. But what's the actual measurement of this angle?
65 times 2.
65 times 2, so this is really 130 degrees. Okay, so 2 different parts here. So make sure that when you're taking a quiz or a test, or even on your homework, make sure that you're paying attention to what the question asks you. If it asks for x, the answer is 65. When it says list all angle measurements, you would just write 25 degrees, comma, the next one is 25 degrees, comma, 130 degrees.
List. I put it 110.
I'm sorry, it says list.
Oh,
I was writing too fast. My bad.
I put 110.
Oh, it looks like, yeah, that says list. Sorry, you're too
Yeah, I
fast.
put 110 on angles measurement.
You're like, I don't even know what that says. That says list.
Okay.
And generally when you're listing something, you list it from the smallest to the largest number. It doesn't have to be in that order, but it's just the general kind of rule. So make sure that you're reading the question if it's asking for the actual value or just what x is equal to. All right, same thing here. We're going to also solve for the missing angle. Sorry. Okay, for this one, we're going to draw a triangle. This one has a line underneath it. Doesn't make it any different about a triangle, though. Up at the top is x degrees. On the left-hand side is a right triangle. And on the right is 43 degrees. So we'll start by filling in what's missing. So what's missing right here? A 90 degree.
degrees.
Okay, and then how would I solve for x?
You add 90 and 43 together.
No.
What do all of them together equal?
180.
180. So
180.
x plus 90 plus 43 equals 180.
Yes.
Dylan's right. No, you're right. You will subtract it eventually.
Then you add them together.
So combine these like terms. So x plus what's 90 plus 43? 133 equals 180. Then you subtract, right? And if you subtract, we're going to get x equals 47 degrees. Now, this one, if I asked you to list all the angles, would you actually have to plug anything back in? No, because you don't have to do anything. So if you listed all the angles, it would be 43 degrees, 47 degrees, and 90 degrees. And the way that you could always like check your work here, if you were going to check your work, you could just add all these together to make sure that they equal 180. That's how you would check your work. Okay, last one. And then we're going to have some time to get some work done. Again, I want you to find all the measures of this triangle. And I'm going to tell you that the top angle is 64 degrees. On the left is x minus 6 degrees. And on the right is x degrees. I ask you to solve for x and find the measure of all the angles. So I want you to list all the angle measurements just like we've been doing and solve for x, please. So any ideas? How could I set up an equation for this? You know that everything inside a triangle is equal to what?
180.
180. So x plus x minus 6 plus 64, so I just went in that direction, equals 180. Combine your like terms, so 1x and another 1x gives you 2x. Negative 6 and positive 64 is what? These are different signs, so you're really subtracting them. 58, and we take the sign of the larger, which is positive. So 2x plus 58 equals 180. Subtract the 58. That gives you 2x equals 122. Careful with your bar or carry. Divide by 2. And how many times does 2 go in 122? 61. Now you actually have to plug back in. So this is 64. This one's easy because it's just 61 degrees. And then the last one, 61 minus 6, gives you what? 55 degrees. So if I asked you to list all the angles, I want you to just write them in increasing order. So 55 degrees, 61 degrees, and 64 degrees.
So least to greatest.
Yeah, you want to do least to greatest. You don't have to, but it's just easier. That's just kind of standard form. Okay, do we have questions on how I did that? So are we feeling decent about that?
Yes.